Welcome to the DW experience. 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 What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the DW Experience. I am so excited. We are on episode number 6. This is going to be a great episode. So first, I want to say thank you to Anointed Radio, to Pastor Jay. Thank you for this platform, for this opportunity, to get to share. And so we're just going to get straight into it. So the DW Experience, we're on episode 6. So the fact that you all are showing me love, the fact that you all are listening, liking, and sharing, do me a favor. If you haven't already, go to the DW Experience, the YouTube page, go to the Facebook page. You can go to my Instagram and like it, show your boy some love. All you got to do is just click like, just bam, that's it. And I greatly appreciate it, and share with your friends that would enjoy it. So really quick, before we get started with our special guest tonight, she is on her way. She's on the highway. I want to talk about something that's been very, very troubling to me today. I've been feeling judged. Let me go to the comments, because I've been feeling judged. Yesterday, I asked a simple question: if any of you have had a peanut butter and mayo sandwich. And the response that I got, I was a little bit taken aback. I felt a little judged about me asking if anybody else had a peanut butter and mayo sandwich. So a lot of people said, ew, yuck. But I'm going to say this. Some of y'all eat chitlins, pig insides, but you judging me for eating a peanut butter and mayo sandwich. So let me tell you how it came about that I ate a peanut butter and mayo sandwich. So I went to the fridge. I didn't go to the grocery store. If possible, okay, let me tell you about it, because you may change your mind. All right. So I went into the fridge and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't feel like cooking. I'm having peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I looked in the fridge and I saw the peanut butter and I was like, oh yeah, I got some jelly. Then I looked up and I saw the mayo, and I remembered a friend telling me about a peanut butter and mayo sandwich. So I was like, I looked at the mayo, then I looked at the jelly. Then I looked at the mayo, then I looked at the jelly. Then I said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and try this mayo. So I put a thin layer of mayo on the bread, right? And I put the peanut butter on the other side, and I put it together. And I had a peanut butter and mayo sandwich. So let me tell you about it. It was a sweet, salty, savory, delicious sandwich that I never thought the combination would go together. Now, a lot of you responded like, Gerald, that is gross, that is disgusting. But, some of you may not know, I was born in Canada. I used to have peanut butter and banana sandwiches. So then my girl hit me up and was like, you should try a peanut butter mayo and banana sandwich. And I'm looking forward to it. So for those of you out there, you're judging me, but you ate chitlins and black eyed peas at the beginning of the year. So I would just want to suggest, that you consider trying a peanut butter and mayo sandwich. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I want to do. I was really I'm so excited about tonight. So if you're not on, do me a favor, click like and share I wanted to like introduce. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start introducing her. Okay, and I want to do it this way. Y'all know, well, maybe you don't. We're on episode 6, so some of you are new. Welcome to the DW experience. I usually do a round of applause, and we'll get to that. But here's how I want to do it this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a singer, an entertainer, a speaker, a lover of jazz, a lover of music, if you know someone who is a lover of music, entertainment, if you love Shaka Khan, Anita Baker, Christina Aguilera, what I highly suggest is that you tag your friend. Go on and click like and share. And this is how I want to introduce her, okay? Because I want to read the bio just a little bit. My mom helped me with public reading, so here we go. Okay. Well, let me see. Ladies and gentlemen, as a music historian, her knowledge exceeds that of most, and she utilizes this knowledge to teach and train. She has worked with Mary J. Blige, Christina Aguilera, Jennifer Hudson, Meghan Trainor, Ron Isley, Will I Am, Gawapale, Rasan Patterson, her boo, Layla Hathaway. Huh? You can hear her on Mariah Carey and Michael Bolton's Christmas album. Let me keep going. You can hear her on Black Dynamite, Burlesque, Little Brats, The Brats, Boss Baby, Little, and HBO's Euphoria. Let me just keep going for some of y'all babies out there. Disney on The Lion King. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, one voice, 5 octaves. Give it up for the amazing Tony Scruggs.
Hi, darling. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. A little tired. I had to go to work today, but still good. Can't complain.
And it's a blessing to be working.
Yes, it is.
At this time, I am so excited. Like I have, you listen, you hit me up like, did you read my bio? I'm like, oh, did I?
Listen, I don't know. I don't claim to be a household name. So sometimes folks got to get a little, crash course on me. So I send them to the website and everything else.
Okay, so let's start right there. I read off a resume that just hails in comparison to what a professional singer is. What keeps you humble?
Oh, well, the journey definitely does. Because listen, even though y'all think I'm a good singer, sometimes I can't pay the bills, or I couldn't for a long time. And that was with working with all of my favorites and your favorites and everybody else. So that definitely keeps you humble. When you got to scratch some money together to put in your gas tank so you can go to the session. That definitely keeps you humble.
And
yeah, that, and then growing up in church, because it's not about you growing up in church. It's definitely about, being a tool, being a conduit so that the message can flow through you. So it's not about you. So that definitely keeps you humble every time.
Okay, see, this is why I was like, what direction are we going with this interview? So okay, I'm gonna put a bookmark right here.
Okay.
And go back to the beginning and say, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Tony Scruggs. You are from the Inland Empire.
Yep, born and raised.
Moreno Valley.
Yep, Moreno Valley, born in Fontana. I'm a real Southern California girl. Born in Fontana. Yeah, Fontucky, right.
Rancho Cucamonga here.
Oh, yep, you know it. Around the corner from you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did a little research, so I want to get it out the way, but mother and father singers.
Yeah. And instrumentalists. Yeah.
Yep. Daddy was the guitarist.
But he plays everything. He plays saxophone, flute, bass, little tiny bit of keys, but he also sings, and he plays all kinds of stuff. So yeah.
And then it just transferred down to sisters, three sisters.
Three sisters. Uh,
You are
but
the
my mother, I'm the oldest. Uh, I was the rebel. So I'm realizing that now. My sisters and I had two different upbringings because since I was the rebel, I was doing all the stuff that I wasn't supposed to. And I was doing it all by myself. So I was the one who we grew up in a household, but religious household where we, you know, weren't allowed to listen to gospel or anything but gospel music and maybe some smooth jazz in the good old smooth jazz days. But I was the one who snuck off and was listening to Sarah Vaughan and Frank Sinatra and Bob Marley and Billie Holiday and you know all the other stuff and the Beach Boys and the oldies and stuff. So
Which is, and we're going to get to that also. Like, I'm sitting here compartmentalizing and working our interview through, because the fact that you grew up in a religious household,
yeah,
and was in some senses limited to what you heard musically,
yeah,
and then to be in this place where on Clubhouse, it was like I was just dipping in and out, and I was just so. If y'all not in Clubhouse, listen, get you an iPhone, get you a
I
gadget,
love it.
figured
It's
it
so
out.
fun.
It's
It's
so, I
so
tell
fun.
people, so good. I just like, I would be in there for a couple hours and dip. This particular room, it had to go on for a good shift.
Yeah,
Like
it
a
was a lot. It
good,
was a good shift. Yeah,
it,
it was a
it was
long time.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Like
a
if
long
you missed,
time.
yeah, yeah. And you moderated that,
Thank you.
and that was your first room, I think.
It was. It was my first room, but I'm not a stranger to being the guy who's like, all right, keep it down. Hey, now that's below the belt. Let's start to like direct some traffic. I've definitely in my career been able to direct traffic a lot, so I know how to make sure that everybody's heard, make sure that people aren't being disrespected and their toes aren't being stepped on. So I've definitely trained for that.
Okay.
Definitely, yeah,
Another part we're going to get to. So
yeah.
you grow up,
Mhm.
um you graduate high school, you realize that, you know what, I'm bigger than this inland empire. Like, I'm ready to spread my wings and fly. you
Yeah.
you go to, I'm like telling your story, but I'm like,
Yeah, you
you
can. You're doing good. You're doing
you
great.
go to Sac State.
I do. Yep.
You take the jazz.
So here's the thing. There was a little hiccup in the middle.
Okay.
I call it my gap 2 years because for about
Yes.
2 years, I didn't do any singing at all. And it was interesting because that was some of my darkest, most depressing years of my life. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to do this. Okay, good to know. So it was interesting. I kind of snuck in. People didn't know. There are people on this planet who don't know that I sing at all. They're surprised when I put up videos on my Facebook because that wasn't what I was known for at all. So in college, even my roommate, she was like, "Do you sing?" Because I would be humming around the room and stuff. And I mean, yeah, kind of, sort of. So then she's like, "We should go do this karaoke thing." And we did karaoke for my dorm, and My Heart Will Go On was hot right then. I'm old from Titanic. And I sang it. Everybody was like, "Who are you? Where did you come from?" So then I kind of became the girl who sings that nobody really knew I sang, because I was known for like the playing ping pong and pool, shooting pool. Okay. Nobody knew that I could.
You were
sing.
The fun girl. You were like,
I was the party girl. I could, and I didn't drink at all, but I could pour a mean beer. Like I could mix a shot, like people, or mix a drink. It was so weird. And I ended up even living in a frat house not a frat house, but like the house where a whole bunch of the dude bros lived for a long time. And I had a blast. And I was the party girl who didn't really party. It was fascinating. But yeah, I did. I got that little karaoke thing. And then my aunt invited me to sing at church, which I did for a little bit, but not long. Okay. And then a friend of mine who I met, who I call my big little brother, because he's about 2 years older than me, but he acts about 6 years younger than me. He kind of walked in my room one day and looked at my CDs and was like, "Hey, you got pretty good music taste." And I was like, "Oh, okay." We became fast friends. And then a year later, he was like, "Hey, I'm auditioning for this jazz choir. You want to come?" I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So that's how that kind of went. So there was a little tiny bit of space in between.
Okay. But it sounds like, I mean, just to move forward, but it wasn't like you were someone who was like, when I grow up, I just want to, be the singer. I just want to be at the center. I just want to, Whitney Houston it. And
no, I was fighting it tooth and nail. Matter of fact, it had, like, my life had to end as I knew it for me to move back to Los Angeles. It had to end. Like, I was fighting it. I was trying to get away. I was like, I want to go to New York. I want to be a starving artist. I want to, sing in little jazz clubs as a little jazz singer and die in obscurity. Like, that was the plan. I didn't even have any aspirations for any of this at all.
And can I just pause right there for anybody hearing this on the live and on the replay? Like, for me personally, I am based out of Las Vegas, and I grew up with the intentions of music. And things transpired. My mom passed away, and I moved away from Los Angeles. Thank you. But I had no intention of doing music, any radio, any of this. So when you say like my life had to end, it was like I was pursuing music, but I wasn't walking in my car. I remember, and this I'm gonna get back to, but like I remember leaving a gig, an open mic, and the Gladys Knight song was playing in my head. Oh, he's leaving on that. Like, I was just like, I'm done. I'm gone. And I never looked back. And some years later, I moved to Vegas and I go to a church to visit. And the pastor was like, "You look like you can sing."
Okay.
I was like, "Sometimes I do."
Right.
It was very random.
Interesting.
And the church ended up paying me to sing for the next couple of years, which somehow it's a whole story into this interview right now. So that's why I'm saying, like, my goal with the DW experience is to uplift, inspire, and encourage. There's enough gossip out there. There's enough salaciousness, which is all wonderful and it has its place. But I want people who listen to this, who may be, especially creative and artists, who may be in like a dark place or may feel like it's over. Like, hey, it's not necessarily over. Maybe you're restarting. Maybe you're resetting. Okay, so we get through college. We're a party girl. We pour a great beer. We're fun, but we don't drink. Somehow you end up at Universal Studios Japan. You go there. You live in Japan, right?
Yeah, but before that, I was an executive assistant. Like, I had a whole other life. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna be an executive assistant to whoever, and I was doing it for CEOs and department chairs and presidents and stuff like that. So I'm kind of floundering for a second there, because I was like, school sucks. I hate school. The only reason I'm going is because of that jazz class. Literally the only reason I was in college was because of that jazz choir. And my friends saw this, my big little brother. And he was like, listen, this is not your life. I was like, big, it is. I was
And
like,
what's your big little brother's name? Sorry to interrupt.
Peter Potter.
Peter Potter.
Actually still in Japan right now. But he said, I'm auditioning for it. And it's crazy because God sends people to me to move me out of where I am to where I'm supposed to be. And he was one of those people. And I was tired of my life and I was like, I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. I was again depressed because I wasn't singing again. I was doing every now and again. I was doing, I was still in the jazz class. And then I think picked up like a wedding band or something. They were driving me crazy. And so I was just like, this sucks. And I quit the wedding band and wasn't really doing much else. And I think I even left the jazz class because I think my teacher retired. So I was like, I don't know, this is whatever. So then my friend said, you should come and try to do this. So I moved to New York. This was actually before he even offered, or he mentioned it and then left for Japan. And then I moved to New York because I was like, that's the place that I want to live. It's my dream city. I want to, of course, go and be a jazz singer and die there. So that was the plan. So I go over there and I stay with family for a bit. And then I get a roommate in Spanish Harlem, and it was living the dream. I had such a blast and could not feed myself. I was singing in the subway. I think the most I ever made was $13 total. And I would literally take that $13 and go to the grocery store and buy food so I could eat that day. And that was the job that I worked for a few weeks, actually a few months. But after a while, my friend, he sent me an email. He said they have a job. They have a Aretha Franklin review, Blues Brothers review featuring Aretha Franklin. He said, I think you should do it. He said, they're auditioning in New York. I was like, how is that even possible? He said, yeah, they're auditioning in New York. Take the audition and get the job and come on. I was like, all right. So I took the audition, and it's funny because I auditioned for that, and I think I auditioned for Rent at the same time. And yeah, so that would have been a whole different path, which I so fascinated to see what would have happened to that. But I auditioned for that and then got that, and I was on a plane within 6 months to Japan. for a year.
I'm just curious to know, what role did you audition for in Rent?
What was the name of that? The lawyer. I forget, but it was the lawyer, and then I was going to be the Seasons of Love girl. I was going to be both.
I could just imagine 500. That's another song I know. Like,
yeah. But I
but
was like
it just
Seasons of
sounds like
Love.
either way you would have went. You are destined to be where you are. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
what direction.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So now you get through Japan, and I would love to spend time there. But you come back and Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan.
So that
Boom.
was the whole when my life ended, because I was trying to get back to New York, and my friend, I have no idea why she disappeared for like 5 years. The one that I lived with, the one who was my roommate in New York, and I was like, dude, what happened? Are you kidding me? And then when I moved to LA, like she started talking to me again. I was like, you got to be kidding me. But I thought that I had to be in LA. So then I restarted again in LA. Life ended. My life out there, came back home. And I was living with my parents for a second, and my sisters, who graduated UCLA, lived in LA and Crenshaw. And they were like, well, you can always come crash on our couch. I was like, all right, it's got to be better than this, because Inland Empire is so far from everything.
Say no more.
Yes. So I was crashing on their couch, and I became an open mic rat. I was at every open mic humanly possible. I, was meeting everybody, and not even meeting everybody, but I was just kind of singing. I just wanted to go sing. I started out at Holly Street, where I believe it was Marcus Miller.
Okay.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong Miller. It's one of those Millers, the one who worked with Luther Vandross.
Okay.
He was hosting a night there. So I went and sang there all the time. And Cozy's was still open then, and Cafe Cordial, all those little holes in the wall. And I would just hit them all up because I had nothing else to do. And so I met a bunch of people, most of the people that are still my friends and colleagues to this day. Tracy Brown Bailey, she was Brown then. Jason Morales, Tiffany Smith, a bunch of people, Terrell Carter. And I feel like my sisters told me about an audition to sing background for Tweet. And she was one of my absolute favorite singers on the planet, living or dead. And I was like, I mean, what could it hurt? I know all of her music. What could it possibly hurt? So I went down there, and all of my friends to this day, friends and colleagues, were in that room. Brandon Wimbush, BJ the Chicago Kid, Tracy
Brandon.
Brown, me too, Brown Bailey, Octavia Pace.
I love Octavia.
So many people. And then it was her band, which at the time was Charlie Burrell, Nissan Stewart, Craig Brockman, and a few other gentlemen. Please forgive me if I I forget your names, but Mavuto Carpenter was also there auditioning. And it was a thing where they were like, okay, so who has her record? I was the only person that raised my hand. And I was like, it just came out like last week. I was like, okay, that's an indicator. I'm going to take over this whole town. And I hate to say that I said that, but I did, because I do my homework. The lady.
Okay, we got to talk about that right there. I mean, let's just park right there.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I have been passionate about when I am introduced to new artists, and even artists who have been in the industry or the game. I'm not a fan of that word, but it's the lack of confidence. It's like one of the things that I realized. I feel like there are things that I learned. I don't want to say the hard way, but there are things that, it's a beautiful industry, but there are things that definitely has turned me off in our culture. And I think one of the things is this weird humility. Like, why not be confident in your gift? Why not be like, you can be humble, like it's your job, but like where you say, like, you know what, I'm going to get these jobs. Like, I've done the work. I've done the studying.
Yeah.
I'm not here to step on feet, but it's like, if we're in the corporate world, there would be no argument about who's best for the job. So what I want to intersect and ask for you is like, and I think I asked before, but where does that confidence come from? And what do you say to people who like lack that confidence in the industry?
Well, mine comes and goes too. Mine definitely waxes and wanes, because when you get to this level, it's not just about ability. It is not just about your resume. It's about a look. It's about a sound. It's about whether you match, the production. yeah, you could be the best singer in the world and still not book the gig. So the industry has a way of humbling you, and for petty reasons. You know, you don't fit the wardrobe. You are too tall. You're too short. You are too busty. You're not busty enough. Like, there are petty little pitiful reasons why you won't get the job, and none of them have to do with your actual ability. So it is definitely humbling to be here,
Can I
especially the
ask
fact.
this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Has it been because of somebody else? That's as messy as I'm gonna get. You ain't got to name names.
Yes and no. It's not that they have a person that they're trying to match per se, as much as it's taking all of the aspects of the production into consideration. So when you get a plus, but that changes the wardrobe budget, because they see, and then it starts to make sense. So where you know you would just be able to run to Fashion Nova and pick up a bunch of size fours or a bunch of S, you know, size small. Necessarily that it's personal, or that they have, you know, they want you to look like, you know, Mariah Carey or whoever, you know, at the time. It's just that sometimes it doesn't work for their particular production. And in that way, you have to not take everything personal. And I had to learn that the hard way myself. So it really is something to where you just kind of have to go, you know, it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. Because
That's good.
anything that's, yeah, whatever is for you is going to find you. You have to really trust that. You have to trust it. And if it doesn't, you got to find something else to do. Maybe that's not your era. Maybe it's not your area. Because for a long time, it wasn't mine. It wasn't my area. My area was to excel as an executive assistant. My area was to, you know, be in New York. That was where I was supposed to be. And I knew that because of all the people that I met and the opportunities that I got while I was there. But when those opportunities dried up, it was time to come on home. So you have to be in the place where the opportunities are for you, wherever that is. And you got to figure that out and decide that, and hopefully be in tune so that you can hear that from the universe, from God, from the goddess, from whoever you pray to or seek wisdom and advice from. So, yeah, you just got to trust it. You got to trust that whatever is for you is going to find you. It's going to. I'm a living witness for that.
Thank you. Okay, we got more time, but like, can we just give it up for Tony Scruggs? I can't. You don't remember? Let's just take a break really quick. Take a deep
Yeah.
breath because you just dropped a whole lot of nuggets
Yeah.
that I hope people really received out there. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about giving forward, and that's what I absolutely adore about you. In addition to your extensive resume, and we have a game for you. We have a game that I've been
Okay.
playing that I've been developing. So we're going to
Okay.
get to that. Oh, yeah, yeah. Um, but you just, you have this extensive resume, but in addition to that, I will tell I don't want to say TJ, but
You can. That's fine. I
I
answer all of
you
them,
know,
child.
TJ back in the day, it was like probably one of my, I don't want to say my last gigs, but I was just like really just like, I'm a young man from Canada. We're proper, grew up in Rancho Cucamonga.
Mm-hmm.
I told my mom, I was like, I do not have the skin for this. Like
Yeah.
this is like, and there's a lot, we'll talk about it. There'll be a book down the road, but
Yeah.
I always tell people like these American Idols, these wonderful competition shows that you see, the behind the scenes is just
Yeah.
like, everybody doesn't make, for the one artist that you saw back in the day, there were like 10 that got shelved that were
Yeah.
supposed to come out that had a budget. There's a whole story. So it was one
Yeah.
of my last gigs, and I was telling Tony in the Clubhouse, I was like, I had lost my apartment. I was apartmenting with my cousin. He
Yeah.
decided to do what he did. We
Yeah.
got kicked out. I was sleeping on the couch. I didn't want to tell people. I think Amber knew a little bit of my story, but I remember I took the one bus to the other bus, trying to be on
Same.
time.
Same. I can relate. Absolutely relate.
And left early and got there 15 minutes late. And me
Yep.
being, I was just like, my life is over. Nobody's ever going to want to work for me. There's
Yeah.
people I look up to. And I sat next to you. It was this place on Ventura Boulevard. And I said, you're my big sister in my head. Like, I just like you. I didn't even know who you were, but I'm just like, I just really like you. Like you, and you were just
Mm.
like, oh, thank you. And I was like, you're welcome. And we sat and listened to the show. But it
Yeah.
just goes to show how amazing you are, but you don't allow it to identify all of who you are.
Yeah.
So that goes back to, I told you we were going to compartmentalize it. Growing up in
Uh-huh.
church and that reverence and that working from your soul. Were your parents pastors? Are you a PK or
Pretty much, yeah.
okay?
Pretty much. They were over the youth department. They were also ministers of music. So pretty much, yeah. Yep.
Okay. So that because it's interesting, like your love for music, but then also to hear you say, listen, I had $13 a day and and
Listen.
and and I had to eat. So when
Yeah.
did that end? What was that moment like you knew, okay, we're moving ahead. This is a living, this is what it is.
Probably, well, definitely for Japan, because Japan, it put everything in perspective for me, because I was like, there is a way to make a living and a good living as a singer and not be internationally famous, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily have a record deal, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily touch a, real estate. And I won't say